Okay. Connection looks like it's going well, so that I think will kick things off. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to what has been a very interesting season so far, and welcome to round 4 of the IIRL season. And with that, we are in round 4, which is our first sprint event of the season. And joining me in the comms box this week, I say almost this weekend, it's a Tuesday. Joining me in the comms box this Tuesday is, of course, FRA Willow. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. A little bit of a name check there, FRC, but it's fine. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been what, 2 weeks, I think, since I've been in the comms box, or here at least. You may have seen me commentating over the 82 Zandvoort race. That was very, very fun. But yeah, happy to be back here. Hopefully, this will be some good racing today.
Absolutely. Well, we are on a track that is actually quite one of the trickier ones, especially with some of the undulating corners. We are obviously in Portimao. First came into the games during F1 2021, and this one has proved a little bit challenging, especially on corner exits, because, for example, turn 3, when you go on the uphill left-hander, when you go downhill, you really have to ride the high gears, I think, just to get the corners absolutely right. Is that your understanding of the track?
What's this into 4?
Yeah.
4.
I can't remember what corner name it was. It's a lot of uphill, downhill where you have to be careful on exit with power.
Yeah, turn 4 is one of the big ones. You've got turn 4, which is at the hairpin, uphill left-hander traction. You may have to put it in 5th, maybe, if it's, I think especially if you're on high fuel. You've got turn 5, the hairpin, turn 6. Turn 7 is the very, very tricky one where you're always losing it mid-corner. So yeah, people are gonna need to watch out.
So just making sure my push to talk was on the game, so I don't disturb anybody in here. But with that, with the view of the track, let's have a look at the standings just to see where everybody is in terms of the championship. And as you can see on your screen, we have John in the lead in the Ferrari, who has taken 2 wins so far with 68 points. The world champion having another stranglehold so far on the standings. But close behind him, between 2nd and 3rd place, is both Ryan and Joseph Hales. 1010 sitting in 4th in his AlphaTauri with Top Gun in 5th. TD in 6th with also that guy, DeflatedWee, and yourself, actually, Willow, in 9th in the standings. And Shivers 10th in the Williams. In terms of teams, you can see with John's lead, we can that will take Ferrari into the lead of the championship with Mercedes in P2. Alpine are currently in P3 with AlphaTauri in P4. Williams in P5 with Alfa Romeo, well now Stake, in season 6. I'm not gonna get a strike for that, am I? For saying Stake?
Oh God knows. That I hope not.
Well, hopefully this won't be kicked off of Twitch. Let's.
Jesus.
And with that, let's go into 7th place, which is Aston Martin with McLaren in 8th, MoneyGram at Haas in 9th, and Oracle Red Bull Racing sitting comfortably in 10th place.
I think you missed the V carb as well.
Yeah.
Out of AlphaTauri. If you're gonna go with the other one.
Voice chat disabled, that's good, so I'm not getting in anybody else's way.
Yay.
Yeah. Looks like a short lobby. We've only got 14 people around, so Joseph Howard asking if my internet is fixed. Well, I've got my Ethernet cable in here now, so if it's not fixed, then if that doesn't fix it, then I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Probably cry.
The party's not dying like it was last time, so I think you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We
absolutely.
supposed how many people are we supposed to have racing? Yeah, we've got everyone in, so
Mm.
there's only 14 people. Does that mean it's going to be short quality then?
Yep. So typically with the qualifying, they typically do one for the. They only do one qualifying session. And obviously, we've got the sprint, and then we have the full race, which is half distance, 33
Oh.
laps, and unfortunately with this game, because it is the most technically accomplished piece ever, it is going to be a 25% race where we have to make one mandatory pit stop. So it's a sprint, but technically not a sprint.
Mm.
Just,
I
what?
did I did forget that we were doing short quality anyway.
Hmm. I'll just get my mouse out of the way. That's good. Just waiting for players to be fixed. And speaking of some big F1 news in real life, it's been a while since I come back onto the stream, and then the off season for Formula One has just decided, you know what, you're gonna have all the big news this time. It's almost like it's making up
Mm.
for how boring last year was in terms of competition. So I suppose we better talk about the thing that's I'm still not quite over, which is Lewis Hamilton's move to Ferrari for 2025. Just where
Mm.
do we even begin with that one?
It's so confusing. Like, how did that even happen? A, like we know it's been reported that Hamilton's childhood dream has been to drive for Ferrari, but we've seen how well he's been doing with Mercedes over the years. Like, how would he leave? None of us expected it. It was a complete curveball.
I think, I mean, the fact that he's chosen to jump ship a year early in his contract tells me he's either looked at something within, well, they're obviously he's not getting enough at Mercedes, whether that be the car or the desire to expand his business empire. It sort of remains to be seen, but it could depend on how that car performs in the first round in Bahrain, and then we'll know there or thereabouts whether Hamilton's jumped the gun.
Mm. But then if Mercedes nail the 26 regulations as well, and if Ferrari don't, he's a little bit screwed.
Yeah, just a touch. And let's
Mm.
not even get started with the host of. Actually, no. What am I talking about? Ferrari are brilliant when it comes to pit stops and reliability. I mean, I'm such a man of little faith. That's what I tell my therapist anyway. But
Oh,
uh,
the pain and suffering that is about to come.
yeah,
Oh dear.
the price of an eighth world title. So it looks
Oh
like we're still
God.
waiting for quite a bit now in this lobby. It seems so. Not quite sure what's happening here.
I don't
Should
think it'll be too much longer.
Yeah, it's certainly taking a while to load. But I
Unless
suppose,
everyone's just nervous of readying up early. Oh, there we go.
oh, they're going straight to the sprint. And it is go. We got Red Dragon on pole with Smaller Smiley retaking the lead there in the Aston Martin. And Red Dragon's falling down to third. And everybody goes round the first corner. Thankfully, nobody hits each other. And the Aston Martin is already pulling a comfortable lead with the Haas of Adamski going up the inside of Red Dragon. But he's not going to have the inside into the left-hander. And the McLaren hangs on into P3. Great start there so far from Smaller Smiley. And it is a melee from about third place down. And there's contact for the Haas, and he's spun round by the McLaren. I don't know whether he turned in a little bit early there. It looks like he did. But now Red Dragon vulnerable to Clates in the Alpine. And the Alpine gets up into fourth. But now he might lose fifth position to the Red Bull as well. And look at that. Red Dragon started off brilliantly and is tumbling down the order thanks to a tardy start.
Yeah, not been very, very good for Dragon there. I think he'll be regretting that. As John goes down the inside, doesn't quite pull that off. Oh! Contact! John and Joseph around.
And Joseph
Chaos
Hales
for the
has lost
championship
his...
leader.
Yep, the two championship rivals taking each other out. Joseph Hales lost his front wing and all of that. So that's not going to help him with sprint as the virtual safety car has been deployed. That should be able to help the McLaren claw his way back up through the field. He's not going to lose as much time. However, he's not going to come out ahead of the Ferrari, which is going to be quite punching. It'll be interesting to see what happened back there again. But nevertheless, the two championship contenders into the pit lane very, very early in the sprint.
Yeah, I was wanting to keep an eye on John for the start of this because I know how he's been hiding his pace. So I've wanted to see what he's been doing, and he tried a move on the inside of the double right-hander, couldn't quite pull it off, and I think Joseph just lost the back end a little bit there. A little bit unfortunate for the two of them. We love hard racing, but touch to see how that one will come out as we go green again.
And crucially there, John did not pit in all of that, as TD is fallen down now back into 12th place in the Alfa Romeo. And I know it's stake now. I don't want to call it stake anymore just in case I get penalised. And I don't want the admins coming after me for lost revenue. Anywho, let's see what's happening at the front. Smother Smiley doing everything he needs to so far in that Aston Martin, which I have to say looks very, very good on this game. But Prev literally right behind him now, and with soft compound tyres, he may not even need DRS to pass him at the moment. He is right up his gearbox as he comes round the final right-hander, and he takes a wider line, which should give him a tighter line into the straight. They're going to be side by side coming down the straight. Fastest lap there for DeflatedWee, but the McLaren looks like he's got ahead of the Aston Martin. Yes, it have. Prev takes the lead.
Does go a little bit wide, and it's always risky when you're going into turn one, as Deflated has gone round. Chaos Mercedes already at the start. This has not been going well.
Nope, and Joseph Hales is still back in... He hasn't even come around the third sector, so both Mercedes are in the mud, and Toto Wolff's pumpernickel has well and truly gone.
They're tracking losing a couple places, I think, there to both that guy and TD in that hairpin. He started from pole, but it's not been a good start for him. He was saying before that this was one of his stronger tracks. He's now looking behind. John's looking for a move. I think Red Dragon's just letting everyone go.
Wonder if he's gotten any damages. Adamski obviously dropped to 11.
Josh's round.
Josh's round in the Red Bull, you're right.
What happened there?
It has been a tad chaotic this start, hasn't it? And speaking of chaotic, look at this. We've got, from Angry Corgi down, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, virtually nose to tail as they come round to the start point, on the start-finish straight, rather. The Red Bull, without DRS, he will be absolutely swamped. So 1, 2, 3, and potentially 4 cars going past the Angry Corgi. And sadly, the Red Bull and Corgi finding himself in the doghouse for not having DRS. Adamski not too far behind as well. And he almost loses the rear end there. This is carnage from the top 5 down. Greg stayed ahead in the Ferrari. So things hopefully may be calming down a little bit here. But this is great stuff to watch already. And we're not only 5 laps into the sprint.
I think that guy was I think that guy was giving a position back to Greg there because he went a little bit off track when they were side by side through turn 1. That caused a little bit of a concertina effect from TD backwards. So little bit odd, but I think they'll just about get away with that one because he's already given position back. But Corgi dropping down from 5th to 9th in the span of about 2 corners.
And as we see behind, the world champion finding his way up the inside of TD. And
as Corgi's round.
And the second Red Bull loses track.
2 Mercedes and 2 Red Bulls round in the span of 4 laps.
It's like 2021 times 2.
Oh my god.
I'm honestly seeing how far I can push the envelope here, but
yeah. Before you give us all PTSD.
Or at least plenty of insightful comments from Team LH. But speaking of, John now finds his way past his teammate, who I think sensibly let him through there. I think we know that John, being the defending champion, has been the faster driver, so I don't think Greg was interested in losing any time fighting him there, which sensible, a little bit of teamwork. But crucially, John who made contact at the start of this race, is only about 5 seconds off the lead with 12 laps to go.
And the pit stop still to go as well.
Yeah, pit stop still to go. He's in for a genuine shot of potentially winning the sprint, isn't he?
Despite having started complete last. This man is on a mission.
Somebody else who is also on a mission is the former world champion 1010, who's stuck right behind Smaller Smiley, but he's not going to be able to make too many inroads there, as John sets the fastest lap of the race, passes that guy in the Aston Martin. The world champion is coming back, and look at this, Smaller Smiley down the inside of Prev there. I don't know whether the McLaren's tyres are going off, but that was very brave from the Aston Martin, but he hasn't got the DRS. Prev comes back up the inside. This is holding up 1010.
Deep switchback. Brilliant move.
1010
as Prev is side by side with 1010 further back. 1010 lets him go. Smart move.
Yeah, very sensible there. He had to back off, otherwise they would be ending up. And look at that, the McLaren really stepping out there. Looks like it's going to be 3 abreast coming into Sector 2. However, that was an ambitious dive bomb there from the Aston Martin. It has to be said. 1010 comes around the outside. But he hasn't quite got the move stick. But he's got the inside now into the right-hander. And crucially, he'll have DRS thanks to the Aston Martin. Prev won't be able to fight. I wonder whether those soft tyres are going off. But crucially for Smaller Smiley, he has got only a tenth between himself and 1010. This will be like candy from a baby in the AlphaTauri as he goes down the inside. But Prev now could overtake the pair of them coming down into turn 1. Is the McLaren going to make it stick? Oh, they both go off. They both go off, and I'm not sure. I don't know whether they have to give each other the place or whether they gained an advantage there. I'm not quite sure what the ruling is. However, Smaller Smiley not too far behind either of these guys. The 1010 throws it down to the inside again. And the AlphaTauri takes the lead in the sprint as John only 2.1 seconds behind this whole pack. This is getting spicy.
I was going to mention that John, as he sneakily climbs his way into the top 4 as we were watching this battle for the last half a lap. But it's been absolutely eye-watering here. But they're letting John claw his way back. They're going to let him in.
I think Prev, either this lap or next, he's got to think about boxing, because I think those soft tyres are dying.
Definitely. It's quite likely to come in this lap. I know when I did the practice race, I started on mediums, managed to undercut quite early. But they're all taking very wide lines on entry for the final corner, which wasn't really expected. But Prev stays out. He's probably going to lose to Smaller here because he doesn't have DRS. Be careful into turn 1. It's very hard as Deflated comes into the pits, but Smaller's cleared in before the corner. Nice move.
It goes wide again, and yes, you're right, Deflated into the pits in the Mercedes. It's not been a good day for the Silver Arrow so far. However, 1010 is sitting pretty handy, actually, because he's been one of the drivers. I mean, he was challenging John for the championship last year. So, yes, John is making his way more and more up to the pack. However, he's going to have a harder time fighting 1010 than he is going to be fighting Smaller Smiley and Prev, I fear. So, there we go.
Just trying to think. Just trying to think what to watch here. I've flicked to Greg and I've seen J Clates go a little bit wider.
Oh, he's badly misjudged that braking.
Glad I caught that.
To be fair, what a call. Well played. As John comes in early.
The undercut is very, very powerful on this game, so that's honestly not that much of a surprise. Greg stays out.
And let's see.
None of the soft runners have come in yet.
Oh, and he has to wait. That's going to hurt his undercut. As you know, I think it might have been fine. I think it was just think it was just internet connection.
Maybe. They'll come out behind Corgi. But John is the leading car who has already stopped.
But as soon as he gets those tyres warm, that undercut is going to be so powerful. I think unless they come out now, unless they pit now, Smaller, Smiley and Prep, they could kiss their podium positions goodbye.
Fenton will probably come in this lap to cover off John because he'll have seen that he's come in. I think the two behind probably will as well.
Yeah, he's got to.
No question about it, but he's already got a 3-second lead to Smaller. Yeah, Tente does come in. Smaller stays out again. But Prev also comes in. First the soft runners to come in. I think the only one.
I think that might have cost. I think that might have nailed him down in fourth.
Prev, with all that pace in the first stint, he's going to lose a touch of it on the mediums compared to everyone else on the softs.
Well, I've got my eyes on John, and he's just cleared the McLaren. Yeah,
He'll be on the very back of Tenten here. He'll be within DRS. Undercuts worked out perfectly for John there.
Absolutely. The defending champion certainly championing very well.
Wonder where Smaller will come out now. He was practically with Prev, who is just about behind Deflated now, on those fresh softs. Could Smaller drop behind them both? And even that guy, who's only a 10th behind, speaking of, wow, got close to the back of him there, as Prev gets 3 seconds. That's the first warning penalty that we've had.
Well, we went halfway without one, so we'll give everyone a bit of credit.
Yeah. This track isn't really known for track limits, but it's harder than it might seem. Unlike those such as Canada and Austria. Dragon also getting 3 seconds there.
As Josh will take the lead in the Red Bull.
No, he won't. He comes in as well. As Johnson says the fastest lap, he's got DRS down to turn 1. He won't go for it here into turn 1, surely. No, he won't. Smart move. He'll wait
Gets out ahead of Deflated, but just ahead of Prev. And you know, he's dropped all the way behind that guy, and it looks like TD's going to chuck it down the inside.
Watch for the lead. Not quite close enough. Thought you might go for it there with the fresh tyres, but no, John just hanging back a little bit there.
This is going to be a very interesting battle. So this is...
Agreed.
Yeah, so we got John, arguably the fastest of this tier, and then we got Tenten, who is absolutely one of the fastest of the tier. Should be interesting to see how these two spar with each other for the rest of the race. Tenten may have that extra lap, but it's kind of a moot point, particularly in a 25% race. So that guy closes up to the back of Prev. Might be stopped on those medium tyres. Let's go on board with John and we'll see just how much he closes up. They're all just keeping it on the black stuff.
And tractions through turn 4 seems really good there. Genuinely, John can't get close.
It's a very hard corner to follow, so, and especially when you've got dirty air, because you've got an undulating track surface, so you've got to manage your traction, and dirty air just sort of makes everything worse. So unless all 10-10's got to do now is just keep his cornering right, and he should have this very well defended. However, we know how good John is, just sort of generally in all areas.
Little snap there from John. coming out of the exit.
Yeah, a slight snap there, you're right. And that's put him about an extra 10th or so back. So we know he's not going to pass him, at least on this straight. Could be an opportunity as they go into potentially turn 5. As you see, but he closes up so much. There's about potentially 3-4 tenths opportunity to make on the DRS straight there.
We just noticed earlier, Josh got past Joseph. It was flick to Joseph, had a massive snap out of his hairpin here. I think Joseph's tyres are going off. Because he did stop on the first lap due to the incident between him and this man, John.
Yeah,
and yet here he is, fighting for the win.
Well, this looks...
There's a reason he's the championship leader.
And this looks...
And this is it.
This looks closer than ever, doesn't it?
Agreed.
Yeah, he is so much closer now. So I'm just picturing that Ferrari just throwing it down the inside of Bisa Kashab, RB of the worst name ever. But for the stream's sake, we'll call it AlphaTauri, well, it's still got that name. Here comes the Ferrari. Turn 1 coming up.
Get close.
Oh, it's very late defense, but throws it down to the inside.
Go a little bit wide.
He's gone off the track though, and he's played it well. That AlphaTauri has played it very well. Prev stays in front of... Prev now actually gets ahead of Deflated there, so I beg your pardon.
Oh! That guy, opportunist move, doesn't quite pull it off, but wow, that was close.
It was very close, and fair play to him for having a go and not making any contact. And TD throws it down the inside, but he makes contact as soon as I say that. Probably a little bit ambitious there from the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, that's smaller. The smaller gets 3 seconds as well.
The penalties are starting to stack up.
Prev is pulling away now.
You always need that moment, especially if you get overtaken, just to mentally just sort of regroup or whatever it is. But nevertheless, the Mercedes will have DRS, so he'll have some way of defending against the 2 Aston Martins behind. But speaking of defense, is he going to try it again? No, he's not. John's
little look there, but no, it doesn't quite go for there.
He was probably looking at what 1010 did the last move, and he thought, okay, if I punch, I'm just going to get counter punched. These 5 cars all line astern through turn 4. It is it's genuinely entertaining. A smaller Smiley down the inside of... He's got 1 car, but could he get potentially 2? No, I think he's backed off to let the Aston Martin go, but he loses place to TD in the process, so I don't know if there was contact there. So smaller Smiley,
smaller centre from a long way back. I was watching from the back of Prev's car and just creamed into Deflated. Wow, was not expecting that at all.
No, where is this race gone? It's lap 15.
Yeah, can't imagine what the real race is going to be like. This will be good.
And let's see if this penultimate lap straight lives up to the hype. He's obviously catching up quite a lot, so you can tell the Ferrari's using quite a lot of energy. Down the inside he goes, but he goes round to the outside. He takes the inside and he's made it stick.
Works.
Well played well played to the Ferrari. That guy gets a time penalty.
1010's coming back. Inside
oh,
5.
It's got to be careful though. This is a very hot corner to leave space. But the Ferrari's got him.
So much respect between these two. They've fought a lot over the years, and my word, are they good at this.
I mean, that is amazing. The fact that they could go so close together and not touch has been it's been staggering to see. But let's see what the AlphaTauri does, as 1010 now gets a time limit penalty.
That's TD.
Oh, my bad.
TD and Joseph.
TD and Joseph. And oh, as I say that, a little bit of contact between 1010 and John John. But this is the start of the last lap coming up. And 1010 sensing an opportunity to strike back at the Ferrari as they come down the pit straight. He is going to be so close with the DRS. And you can tell that Ferrari is low on energy. 1010 comes down the inside. The AlphaTauri gets back into the lead, and all he's got to do now is just keep it on the black stuff and just make sure the Ferrari cannot get another strike at him yet again in turn 4. With a 3/10 gap, he might just be okay. Nearly 4/10. He's got to be cautious coming into this next corner. Is the Ferrari going to send it? No, he's not. He tries to bait the dummy, but looks like 1010 has got it covered as Josh passes Jay Clates in the Alpine. Deflated is holding on to 4th. And Prep doing very well to hang on to 3rd.
Yeah, agreed. I think Prev's had some really good pace today.
And Snacks, good to see you too, buddy. And my everlasting nickname of Spork. Well, enough about horrid nicknames, because we're coming around to the final few corners now, and these two have given us a brilliant sprint to sit back and watch. But the former champion 1010 comes across the final corner and into the straight now. He wins the sprint. John John did a brilliant recovery to come back in the Ferrari, but Prev, crucially, with that time penalty, is going to lose 3rd place to Deflated. That guy finishes in 5th with Smaller Smiley 7th and TD 6th. Greg coming up to the start-finish straight in 8th. The Red Bull of Josh will be 9th with Jay Clates in 10th. Only points awarded for 1st to 8th for the sprints. We're just waiting for the last few cars to come across the line. There's a lot of blur on my screen, so apologies there. Joseph Hales. Bit of a ceremonious finish there, it must be said.
Sums up his race, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I
think he'll
wouldn't be
say that in his own words.
But I wouldn't be a Red Dragon summoning his race, because it has been, it's been a hard one, it has to say, and nearly runs into the Mercedes for good measure.
Well, I'm looking forward to the actual race now.
Yeah, me too. I think
this will be very good.
I think that was a very entertaining sprint, all things considered. So there we go.
Now we get to calm down a bit for qualifying now, don't we?
Yep, just calm down just a touch as they set the grid. And, yeah, basically as they set the grid. I always think there's something else, but there's probably not, so... Who said sprints were boring?
Not me. Nah, sprints have always been great.
Absolutely. So we'll just run you through the order. So we have 1010 taking the sprint in the AlphaTauri, with John John 2nd in the Ferrari. Deflated doing brilliantly to finish 3rd in the Mercedes. Prev 4th in the McLaren, with that guy 5th in the Aston. TD 6th in the Alfa Romeo, with Smaller Smiley in 7th in the Aston Martin. Greg 8th for the Ferrari, with IIRL John in 9th in the Red Bull. Jay Clates 10th in the Alpine. Adamski, Corgi, Joseph Hales and Red Dragon, all obviously outside of the top 10. Well, obviously outside of the top 8, obviously, because it's a sprint. But nevertheless, let's just breathe.
And now we see what their qualifying pace is like. This will be good fun.
Oh yeah, because they just announced the new sprint rules for this year, haven't they?
Yes, it's sprint qualifying on the Friday now. I think, yeah, sprint qualifying, sprint, actual qualifying, race. I think that's how it will go. That's off the top of my head.
Yeah, so Friday practice, sprint qualifying, sprint race Saturday morning, then actual qualifying, then actual race, which I get changes needed to be made. However, I think everyone's just going to be cautious on the sprint race. I mean, unless they allow people to do like a spare sort of T car like they did in the 2000s, I don't see people gunning all out for it anymore. I don't know about you, but
Yeah,
I think it's a good change, but it's not. It could have been better.
yeah, I think having it as its own, like its own event, I think personally that's a little bit odd for me. I actually quite liked the way that they did it the first time, um, having the sprint set the actual grid. I think the thing with that is that you could also do it reverse grid. I
And
think
to be
that would make it really interesting. Or they could do what they do in F2.
and to be fair, Max Verstappen would still win it. So
True. Just gives everyone else a little bit more of a chance for a podium or some points.
hopium.
Yes. Yes, it is.
The way I would do it, and this is mainly sort of centered around the issues with Parc Ferme, is that I would keep Friday just a practice day. So I would have two practice sessions on the Friday. I would have I would have qualifying on the Saturday morning for the sprint. Then I would have the sprint on Saturday afternoon. Then have that order decide the grid.
Hmm.
I mean, it works. I mean, it works with F2, and I think all the traditionalists out there just saying that, yeah, they add not much, no, they don't add any value or whatnot. To be honest, yeah, in one sense they're kind of right, but if you got it, you might as well just try and make the most of it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, there's the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but in most people's eyes, this is very clearly broken.
Like
So,
like FOM's
hmm,
response to Andretti coming into Formula One.
true. I can't deny that one.
I mean, I've watched quite a few videos when I've seen like a YouTuber sort of pick it apart, right? And to be honest, it's hard not to agree with them because bearing in mind their argument that the fact that they're building a car for 2025 and then for 2026 makes them inviable. Haas did exactly the same thing in 2016 and 2017, and nobody cared.
Hmm. Just shows how the world's evolved. Well, I say evolved, but hmm. I think there's more consideration for the world now.
I think from a sporting perspective, there's enough money to have three teams in no, to have an 11th team, and the fact that they think an 11th team won't be competitive, yet they got Haas who don't know their front end from their rear end, with regards to their car, I mean, and a team principal that was more concerned about gaining popularity on Netflix.
Hmm.
To argue whether that add value or not is a bit of a stretch.
Especially given the presence that they have in the US as well, because Andretti and IndyCar, and also just in general, Andretti and Formula E, like they have a lot of prestige.
Well, hopefully, speaking of prestige, TD will be wondering whether this lap should have any prestige for him in the timing screens. It's only a short qualifying, so we're going to see what TD is able to do in the Alfa Romeo kickstake, whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
it didn't quite hit the apex there on that right-hander, so might be a bit of a conservative lap from him. Which, to be fair, you really need that first lap to get in your banker, just to find out where you can make that little bit of extra time, just so you at least have some place in the standings before going gung-ho. Yellow and
As one of the McLarens are spun, that's Red Dragon.
So Red Dragon seeing red. TD sets the benchmark with a 16.8.
I don't think that's actually that bad.
17.1.
He's gone faster than Joseph.
Yeah, as soon as you say that. But here comes John to shatter all expectations with a 16 flat.
Jesus Christ. I can hardly do that with assists, let alone with nothing. This man is insane.
In the membrane, as 1010 does a 16.3. Next over line will be Prev. Who's over a second down on what John was able to do in the second sector. He has a 17.5. I think Angry Corgi is the next one on a fully timed run.
He'll be starting a lap, I think.
Yep.
I think everyone behind's going to be starting laps. The only person who hasn't set a lap time that's already out is Red Dragon, but that's because he's spun coming out the hairpin of turn 3. I think he'll be going for it again, though.
Yeah. I'm looking at the side pods and that Red Bull. It's just like, how does that not cause an engine failure? They're so thin.
Well, that's like Mercedes with the zero pod concept, to be fair. How did that engine not blow up?
Because it wasn't very fast.
I mean, touche, but...
Let's be fair, I'm not sure.
Red Bull is very quick in a straight line. I think a lot of that owed to the drag, or lack thereof.
Because they also had a DRS system that was made by aliens.
That too. As we'll see, Angry Corgi comes to the line now. 18-1.
I think Smaller Smiley is next on a timed lap to come round. I think Greg is just about to start his in the Ferrari, and yes, he is.
And that'll be Prev. Is that Prev starting his second run?
I think it must be. Sixth place for
Small goes into
Smiley.
6th. Big Clays comes to the line next.
Only 2/10 behind an Aston Martin that was only separated by 2/10. Are you listening, Lawrence Stroll?
And then Josh comes to the line on mediums.
He's invalidated. Would have done the 17.6, which would have been good enough for 8.
With Deflated behind him starting a lap.
Then Greg is also on a timed run. He's on softs.
This corner is one of the ones that I hate on this track.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones. It's just you're just begging to get on the power, but it will punish you if you don't. If you do it too early.
And you never know when to turn either.
Hmm.
As Greg goes into 7th. Only quarter of a tenth behind Smaller. And the same distance to Prev. Interesting.
Deflated on a run in the Mercedes, as you just said. She's done a 51.4, so not too far off the leaders.
Be a good lap here.
I'm seeing a potentially good lap here.
16.5.
16.4.
Oh. Close though.
Very close, I'll give you that. And Red Dragon spins again.
He's not having a good day today, is he?
No. I mean, in that McLaren, in the days he's having, he might as well. He'll probably be feeling like Daniel Ricciardo.
God. I think Chaz might have been feeling the same for the past couple of races.
Yeah.
I can't say that. He was my teammate.
No.
That's another teammate I've lost now, because last season I started off with Dane Smithy as my first teammate. And now I've lost Chaz.
You're just a teammate killer. You're just a teammate killer, mate.
No, that's Fernando Alonso.
I thought that was Max Verstappen.
Or both.
Dex Steely, thank you so much for the follow.
Yet. Stroll hasn't died yet, so can't really count.
16-1 for Joseph Hale. So John getting some competition. He's just about to start his lap though. 10-10's on. He's a 10th up, so we could see an improvement in the AlphaTauri.
As that's a Red Bull that's looped that. That's Corgi on pit exit. I think John's already backed off as well. Went wide through turn 1.
Nah, he'll get another crack at it. 10-10, 2 tenths up. Did you see John's first sector? Was he down?
I think he backed off because he went wide at turn 1.
And Dex... God's sake! We've seen on the Twitch chat, he's done the Spark command where he's asking for a front wing. 15-8 though for 10-10.
I see. Dear God. When I've been practicing, I haven't been much in the 15s. I think I've only got 1 15 so far, and it was a 15-9.
Red Dragon's just invalidated again on the first corner.
This man can't catch a break today, can he?
He really can't. That guy in 6th. So I think he's improved this time. But yeah, the McLaren, not being able to catch a break Spark is never safe. I mean, I'm not even racing anymore, so not sure how I can break a front wing. I could jinx somebody here and a front wing is probably going kaput, but...
Commentator's curse.
I don't care.
John goes wide again at turn 1.
Again. Under a little bit of pressure, maybe. Preb next in the McLaren. I think he's just started his timed run. I'm hopeful for. And Steely's just done the commentator's curse thing in the Twitch chat. Bless him.
Yeah, it is short quality Steely.
Very tiny there from Prev in the McLaren. And I'm pretty hopeful for McLaren going into this year, but he's invalidated.
Oh no, it's going to be a good lap for that.
It was. Angry Corgi's improved, but only by half a tenth there. As Deflated comes out for his next lap. Adamski's backed off in his Haas. It's the second ever
Red Dragon
race.
has just appeared in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's backed off. What happened there?
I think he probably had a moment and probably realised it wasn't going to improve. Hopefully this guy will improve.
Who is this guy? This is Greg.
What's happening with Greg?
Greg's the next car to cross the line.
I'll go back to Deflated after we've had Greg cross the line. He improves by 2 tenths, goes ahead of Smaller Smiley, and Greg is 600ths up on his best.
Who's going to be after that? think J Clates is after. And they're not going to be deflated with Josh.
Oh, that wasn't the best, and he's dropped time. He just went too wide. He's still going for it now. He's coming into the pits.
Comes in.
Josh is next in the Red Bull.
I find it really surprising how much ERS you use down to turn 1. Just feels like too much.
Well, this track
As in
this track has
you
always
just don't have
been-
enough for the rest of the lap as he goes very deep into turn 5.
Yeah, you see the marbles on his front tyres.
One of the 2 cars that still hasn't set a lap yet. I've been wanting to get one in soon. But unless he comes in at the end of this lap, I don't think he'll have time to go around again.
.51.5, so this is a pretty good run.
Definitely time in it though.
Yeah, definitely time in it, but that's not a good right-hander there. So I think you might be right about him needing to pit.
Yeah, he stayed to the right. Oh,
No, he's gonna bank the
he
lap.
stayed out. Still a good lap, 16.7
Good enough
in
for fifth.
comparison to others.
TD on a time run now.
Aston's going to need to get out of the way.
10 up his best. Get out of the way, Aston! Oh, and that
no.
is... Well...
It's that guy.
Yeah, unfortunately there he was impeded. So it's a bit of a shame for TD because he was on a good run.
The angry Corgi, the car in front, starting a lap. Who's the first car on track now? I think it might be Prev. Yeah, I think Prev is the first car on lap.
2/10 off in his
21.9.
best. Let's watch the McLaren as he comes round to Sector 2. So it looks like all the top 4 looks to be coming out to set another time. We're just waiting on John in the Ferrari. He's just coming out the pit lane
TD's not
now.
happy in the chat.
To be fair, I can understand.
Apparently Joseph didn't have a setup for the sprint either.
Ooh.
So
Then-
could we see some more pace from Mr. Hales later in the race?
To be fair to him, has he got no setup now? Because if he hasn't, and he's got up to P3, fair play to him.
Probably he probably will have a setup now as Prev goes into top 8 with a 17.0. I think he'll probably have a setup now because you've had the break in between races as well. With Corgi next to cross the line.
Over the line he goes.
17.7.
He doesn't
Stays
improve.
P12. That guy next to the line, 16.8, only improves by 6 milliseconds.
It's barely anything in it, isn't it?
J Clate's next to the line because 10.10 is starting a lap.
Alpine is up, so he's just got to play it sensible. He's got a lot of birds available for someone on a flying run.
Yeah.
He improves-
17.5 into the top 10. Josh retires in the pit lane, I think that is.
Adamski stays 13th. He's not going to go any further. As Deflated comes around to set his timed run.
Starting.
And 10.10 is invalidated. He's not going to improve.
That's still a good lap, so I think he might... He has a chance of being okay.
J Clates is invalidated as well. So who's the closest to going over the line? DeflatedWee is up.
McLaren...
as is John
Rev
John.
starting another run.
Not,
That guy coming around again. Not a lot of ERS. He's taking the line. Ah, that's why. They're taking the line to make it quicker. Oh, he's going to the pits. Did TD miss the line?
I think he did.
By quite a way.
So, and John John is just up on deflated. This is going to be very, very close indeed.
Adam's key next to the line. 18-2. Doesn't improve.
Right, we've got DeflatedWee coming down to the
14,
line. Is he going to be on provisional
16.
pole?
16-1.
No, he's not. 16-1.
Only just moves him ahead of his teammate. John John next to the line. John John can't do it either.
Joseph Hales is next. He's 2/10 off on his best. Could be a surprise result for the Mercedes. He goes across the line. And it's pole by 3/10, 3,000ths of a
milliseconds.
second. Wow.
The man is insane. He goes from not having a setup and being quite low in the order in the sprint to taking pole for the main race.
That is crazy. What a finish. By 3,000ths of a second. That is a Hamilton Hungary 2023 moment. That was so close.
Wow. Congratulations to Joseph. That was a lap.
Very good lap. Considering the track had rubbered in, I mean, 1010 will be kicking himself for invalidating there, but
Yeah.
that was a very good pole position time for Joseph Hales, who goes to the top spot in his Mercedes. 1010 second in the AlphaTauri, with John John third in the Ferrari. DeflatedWee in the second Mercedes in fourth. Josh fifth in the Red Bull. TD sixth in the Alfa Romeo. Seventh is that guy in the Aston. Prev 8th in the McLaren, Greg 9th in the Ferrari, and Smallest Money 10th in the second Aston Martin. And that rounds up the top 10 for a short qualifying session before we go into the main event for the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Got less than 3/4 of a tenth covering the top three. Dear God, this is insane.
Absolutely. Also,
And I thought 82 was good.
you've got
Wow.
you've got a fan in the Twitch chat, by the way.
Oh, do I?
FRC Dom.
Hi, Dom. Yeah, that's my teammate. I think Dom's doing 81 on Thursday. He's reserving for it. He is, and we've been saying that Exotic has been fast because he's top 10 on TT. Dom is just as fast. So I think that's 2 places locked in for the race.
Oh, cursor on screen. That's my bad. Apologies there.
I'm waiting for Ash to get in here, my team owner.
Da 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 da. Max Verstappen. Dun dun da da. Do you think that was going on in Joseph Hales' head when he got that pole?
What did he do?
Da 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 da. Max
God.
Verstappen. Dun dun da da.
The thing is, if it was Max Verstappen, he'd be getting pole by 3/10.
3,000ths.
I mean, yeah.
Tomato, tomato. The cursor is linked to Michael Massey's safe cover. Oh, for goodness sake.
Oh no!
They
Just
brought
be
up
like,
the massive.
Yep, safety car on. Safety car increase.
Yeah,
Red flags on.
the harbingers of chaos.
God.
Oh, the massive.
Just saw that.
Yeah, someone's not a fan of the Max Verstappen theme.
Maybe just the association that comes with it.
No, Sparky, that was so not right. Probably not, to be honest, but
No, no, Michael, no, no, that was so
To
not
be
right.
to be fair, I've been ruffling feathers throughout this whole stream, so I'm bound to get some form of reaction.
True. Whether it be from the Twitch admins or from the Twitch chat.
I haven't been banned yet by Lawrence Stroll or sued by British gambling laws,
Or by the streaming company that shall not be named.
and I haven't been hunted down by the Stroll bandwagon.
You haven't been kicked out yet.
To be fair, the internet's done a really good job so far. I mean, you probably, just probably said too much with that one, but hey.
Hmm. What time is the ready up? We get to 28.
So it can't
They've
be
still
too.
got a couple minutes left.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And Steely pointed out this time, yeah, he's probably right. And then I'll probably be blocked from Formula One for having an opinion about their view towards Andretti.
God.
Oh, come on. No.
Oh dear.
And now he wants me to be buried by Jos Verstappen.
I was going to go more than 6 feet under.
Yep. In the sprint, I did a first to 14, so this time I'm doing a 14 to a flat. To be fair, that is a big brain move.
True. Just let everyone have the chaos in front and you just scythe through all of it.
He tells me. I'm not even going to respond to that.
I didn't see it. No.
Let's please keep the innuendos to a minimum.
I mentioned that I was going to be doing this to some of my FRC teammates earlier, and one of them said earlier we're going to make sexual jokes in your chat, and I said no, you can't do that. They're already here.
This kind of feels. I love how in between the races, it kind of feels like more of a Top Gear segment of the news.
True. Oh, I love this.
You see, despite what TD says, streams for me can actually be pretty fun.
I experienced that with China. China was fun, and we also had Deflated in as well. And now it's just me and you, and it's just like, this is really good, as we've got a car that's left the session. Ah, starting.
And 5 lights are on ahead of the drivers. It's lights out and away we go. And a good start so far for Joseph Hales. But it looks like 1010's had an even better start than the AlphaTauri. Down the inside he goes. And no, but the Mercedes just holds on. Almost a little bit of contact there between those two
Watch
cars.
John.
Yep, I'm seeing him round the outside in the Ferrari. That's going to give him the inside into the left-hander. The world champion, he almost gets the position. DeflatedWee,
opportunistic.
absolutely, right up the onside of him, you're right. But he can't quite get the move done as he gets hit up the back by TD. I'm sure there'll be plenty of words in the chat about them later. How you doing, Demon? You joined us at a brilliantly convenient time. As I'm just going to get everything sorted out because I probably should have done that earlier. Apologies, viewers. But everybody, as you can see on the field, starting on the medium tyre simply because you need that extra bit of tyre grip just to cope with this sort of track. As we saw in the last race, the undercut is very, very powerful indeed. Jay Clayton, Red Dragon falling behind the pack, so they may have had a bit of a coming together. But lap 1, the top 4 are as they were in grid order. Joseph Hale leads with 10:10 second. John third in the Ferrari with DeflatedWee in 4th. And TD is up into 5th with Prev in 6th. That guy in 7th with Josh 8th. Smaller Smiley and Greg rounding up the top 10. Here comes 10:10 down the inside. And he's made the move stick. And even without DRS, the Scot takes the lead into turn 1. But can Joseph Hales come back at him? What's the Ferrari going to do? It's all pretty steady going into the second lap, but the AlphaTauri retakes the lead.
Looking back from 10-10, Deflate got a little bit of a tap from the rears. John is going for it on the inside of 5. Got to be careful of 10-10 from behind, but he's got the move done.
It's such
things.
I don't think
Side by side on exit. Joseph comes back on traction. Brilliant fighting as John backs out. Smart move.
Yeah.
Again, Joseph just about keeping it within the track limits there.
They all gave each other plenty of room.
All of this is allowing 10-10 to get away. Gap up to 5/10, they're going to need to probably burn a touch.
So when we say get away, it may only be 4/10, but because it's so close, a tenth could feel like a mile on this track, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It gets very, very tight, but 10-10. I was racing him in the practice race that we did yesterday. This man has some insane pace here. Don't ever count 10-10 out. Ever.
And as soon as you say that, he does the fastest lap.
Despite it only being lap 2.
Oh,
There's moves going on. Oh, Prev goes wide in McLaren.
Stays ahead of that guy.
It's going to be very close if they came back on. Because that guy has a snap through turn 4. Already tyres going off? I doubt it. Ooh. That guy getting very close to the back of Prev into turn 5 there.
What about overheating?
Could be. In the hot wake of other cars, as we got Corgi getting past Adam Ski back in for 11th and 12th.
Yep. So they're all staying relatively line astern as the leaders are coming up into sector 3, and the Red Bull goes wide, gets on the curves, and he loses out 11th position, so the Haas gets all the way back past. Coming back to the leaders though, we say 10-10's got a lot of pace here, but he's certainly going to need it. But he's got a very good exit coming out of the final corner, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough to fend off Joseph Hales, who has got DRS as of now. 10-10 sets the fastest lap. What's the Mercedes going to do? Looks like they're all relatively holding position, and TD's not too far behind this pack either in the Alfa Romeo.
A bit of a snap from 10-10 through turn 1 there.
Yeah, and it's put Joseph Hales
Concertina
right on
all
the
of them
back.
up. It'll be very close into turn 5 here, I think. No, not close enough again. The first straight gains you so much, with the second straight so little. It's such a yin-yang effect, if you want to call it that. But as we saw in the first race as well, China, he was hanging on to the back of these cars, and he still is now. He's still within DRS. He's doing a really good job this season so far, I think.
Well, Portimao is one of those tracks that was built before the DRS craze.
I say that and he goes wide. God's sake.
How many
Commentator's curse strikes again.
How many things are we going to curse this stream?
Hell knows. God knows.
Yellow in
Assembly
sector
round,
2,
that's
that's
Red
Red
Dragon.
Dragon. So unfortunately, the 14 to first strategy isn't quite paying off.
Nil stop strategy.
But let's see how close the Ferrari can get to Joseph Hales. He backs off. He's not going for the move. TD sits right behind this bunch. Probably just keeping his distance. On the two Astons right together, and Red Dragon has retired. Is Small Smiley going to chuck it down the inside of his teammate? No, he's not. He's just going to play it sensible there when he can. John all over the back of Joseph Hales.
That guy going rather wide into the hairpin there. There's a few small trains starting to form here. You've got the front group, and you've got Prev down to Josh, or sorry, to Greg, and then Adam Ski to Jay Clates at the back. I think Jay Clates was a little bit unfortunate at the start because he was the car that disconnected.
Yeah.
It's a little bit unfortunate, but not really much that anyone can do about that.
Yeah, that is certainly a shame. As things sort of calm down a little bit between the leaders, we got that guy and Prev right behind each other. As I say that, we're coming back to the leaders right now. And the Mercedes goes down the inside. Is he going to pull it off? Yes, he is. But
10-10
immediately,
switchback.
you're right, absolutely. What a very calculated bit of defense there, but he hasn't quite got it done as of yet. However, he will have DRS coming into the next straight. He's got to be able to defend from that Ferrari. He has defended. Down the inside he goes yet again, but he backs off.
Oh,
It's
deflated on the
deflated.
inside of John.
Yeah, you're right. He's up the inside of the Ferrari, but he hasn't quite pulled it off. John defending that. I'll tell you what, it's amazing how well these guys can race with each other. They're so close and they're not making contact.
Yeah, am I getting a little bit of deja vu? That seems like a little bit of Joseph and 10-10 from the start all over again. Joseph winning out in a traction race.
Do you know what? I was literally just thinking the same thing.
We all share the same brain cell. The same singular brain cell.
Yep.
Oh dear.
The last two brain cells turn up to a Formula 1 race.
We'll stick for this season, and by the end of it, it's going to be gone again because Verstappen's going to dominate. Oh dear.
Yeah. But here comes 10-10.
10-10 looking for the move as well.
He's got it. But it's the Ferrari getting
Well
it ahead of
before the
Joseph
corner this time.
Hales. Throws it
Gonna
down the
go for it.
inside. Oh, but they managed...
Oh, what happened there?
I don't know what's happening. It's so
Did 10-10 have a
close.
snap as well or something?
And Joseph Hales back into the lead.
He's going to lose it again, though.
He is going to lose it. You're right. 10-10's down the inside.
Too close with the DRS. John.
Throwing it
A
up
little
the
bit
inside.
sneaky on the inside there.
Very sneaky indeed. What's Deflated going to do? Yellow's in Sector 1 as Clates has a moment.
Fun on the exit of 4, I think.
And that guy is only 2 seconds behind this group. So what is a 5-car battle could turn into a 6.
True. 2 seconds still quite a bit, especially with all of this lot in front fighting. And the thing is, they still have the DRS, which that guy won't, and he'll be fighting with Prev, I would have thought. He is sort of dropping the McLaren though, so...
I do think the Aston is just a tad faster.
Yeah.
And speaking of faster, John got DRS open, right ahead of Joseph Hales.
Not in the slipstream though, it'll be a very risky move if he tried into turn 1 there.
Yeah.
Does he wait for the hairpin? No.
That
Oh,
guy
Joseph blocked the rears.
Yeah, I just saw that. He's just kept it in DRS though. As DeflatedWee comes down
allowing 10-10 to get away.
Oh, but DeflatedWee was down the inside, but he didn't quite commit to the move. Everyone's being very cautious coming into that hairpin, aren't they?
Yeah. I think they're a bit nervous of maybe locking the rears as Adam Ski has lost it on the exit to turn 4 as well.
Yeah, unfortunately Adam Ski there had a bit of a moment and dropped a few seconds down behind Angry Corgi. Now just to remind everybody, this is a half distance race, so they will have to do a pit stop, but these medium tyres should get them round to about lap 14 or 15 before they start to bite the dust. Joseph Hales having another bad exit. That's going to put the Ferrari all over the back of him.
Be a close one.
It's going to be very close. The Ferrari down the inside. He's going to make the move stick, it seems. Is Joseph Hales going to come back? He's got to run on the inside. But he doesn't quite make it.
Adam Ski's spun again. Coming into the penultimate corner. Coming out of the penultimate corner, sorry. The DRS training that they've sort of had has allowed this little group to close back up to 10-10 from what was a 9/10 gap to now 3 or 4 tenths.
And crucially, as you pointed out, thanks to that guy not having to fight with having to fight with Prev, he's not actually gaining any time on the top 5.
They're all hanging on quite well. I sound surprised, but I don't think I really should be because of the pedigree of some of these names, especially in this league.
That was a very good exit there from 10-10.
Mm. He was consistently doing that in the practice race, and dear lord, it annoyed the hell out of me. I just can't see what he's doing differently, other than maybe being a little bit wider on the exit
It's
of the
almost like
penultimate corner.
it's almost like that real life race in Brazil where Fernando Alonso was pulling out that weird sort of the weird line mid corner against Sergio Perez, and somehow he was
Hmm.
able to keep hold of the position for as long as he could. Oh, looks like a few lockups there from the top five. No changes in the order for now. As behind Preb still continuing to harass that guy in sixth place.
Hmm. I think that train has been a little bit broken up now. It's almost dropping back a little bit from Prev. Don't know what's been going on there. Maybe it's just been a little bit of tyre wear. Maybe, as you suggested earlier, overheating already. Running in the hot wake of the turbulent air of the car in front is very, very key.
Well, I think if there's anyone who's playing it very cautious right now, it's this man, TD, who's not going to risk getting too close up to the cars in front. Now, I think he's probably aiming to pick up the pieces, but he's still enjoying the benefits of DRS without probably too much sacrifice, but he'll probably have to make some kind of attack sooner rather than later. But I think for now, he's playing it very, very sensible.
Mm. Deflated with 3 seconds. That could be a race ruiner.
Ah, that is... Yeah, that... Oh, that's bad.
And we're only just a third of the way through this race. That could be really influential in this race.
Yeah, that could be very decisive. You're right, because if you see just how... In fact, I'm just going to move to time relative to the leader. Just 1.7 seconds covers the top five.
Jesus. I don't think we've seen a race this close for a long time.
And I am all here for it.
Hmm.
The Ferrari really starting to put the pressure on now.
As smaller, I think it's fun. Yeah, smaller's gone wide at the double right-hander
We'll,
just before sector 2-3 split.
we'll, safe
Lost
to,
a bunch of time.
well, safe to say Smaller Smiley won't be feeling too smiley about that one.
God.
And straight away, John pits now. As does as does TD, as does DeflatedWee. So they've gone early for the undercut.
That, for me, that's a really weird call. Um, I see. I would explain my reasons behind this, but it could also give a strategic advantage to those on Thursday. So I'll probably DM you about that one. But it's very, to me, that just seems really weird.
Oh, and the Red Bull almost chops off the Ferrari, but I don't think it will take long for John to find his way back past. Angry Corgi driving a very cautious race in his Red Bull. But however, it's not going to help in terms of the Ferrari getting the undercut that he needs. And the Red Bull, I don't think is going to waste too much time fighting the Ferrari. And neither can be said for Deflated, as he's let both of them pretty much go. And I dare say you won't want to get in TD's way either.
They've gone on to another set of mediums. I've just noticed that. I thought they would have gone to hards.
So they're two stopping.
Yeah. Mm, That's mm, that's a really hard one to call.
So
Because yes, the pace is going to be better, and yes, you're going to get the undercut when they do eventually come out. But if the two cars in front of stop it are only doing a one stop, that's going to be really hard to catch up. As it comes into the pits, 5 second penalty for speeding.
he's
First
probably
one
into
we've seen.
retire. As you know, he is in seventh. Mind you, others have made pit stops.
You've got, yeah, he'll come out and he'll still be on for some points. To find.
So
Have you
just for
gone?
so just for reference, the gap between John and 1010 is 24 seconds roughly. It's interesting to see what will happen once they once we go on to the next lap, just to see how much the Ferrari's been able to close up. The big thing to obviously take away is just how big is the tyre delta going to be between these cars, because I think you may be right about 1010 and Joseph staying out. That could be the way to go. However, going into this, I can't help but feel that those who came in early may have backfired their strategy somewhat by going to a two-stop.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be very, very hard to catch up there. I don't personally see it. I think the pit delta is like 24 seconds or somewhere around there. As Deflated sets a vast lap, that's a very nice lap time to look at, a 119.191.
And he's passed John
Oh!
John.
No, he hasn't.
Well, he
Going
almost
very
did.
wide through turn one there.
TD
Absolute
right on the back of him as
send.
well. .4 in one lap. So in one lap, he's taken 1.6 seconds out. It's not over till it's over.
I just messaged you about why I thought that stopping this early would be. Hello, Sun God.
John rarely gets strategy wrong. Hello, Sun God.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm never going to write him off because we all know how fast he is. But at the same time, it's a very very odd call. I just don't personally see why you would do that, especially at this stage in the race. Because you could also just do a medium soft soft. But we'll see how it turns out.
21 seconds now, the gap between John John and 1010. If he wins, will you apologise for his race? Okay, I'm going to hold you to that, Willow. I'm going to hold you to that.
I will give a public apology in general.
A 2-minute written statement.
Oh Jesus, I can't make that 2 minutes. No. I've had enough of writing like massive essays. I've had to write 1,500 words on bollards.
Bollards.
Right, pain. God, I love being an engineering student.
Things are staying relatively status quo. These two seem pretty even coming out of the exit, with Deflated just that little bit faster. 19.1 fastest lap for the Mercedes. As things are pretty even Stevens between the top two. We're getting to halfway distance throughout this race. And I'll be honest, hard to say who's actually going to win this. But the gap is 18.7 seconds now. Because bearing in mind, to make this strategy work, 1010's got to go to the top two have probably got to go to the hards, unless they.
No, see, my strategy on the race yesterday, as Prev gets past
Oh,
that
and
guy
that guy's
spun.
gone off. And he's
Very,
destroyed one of the
that's-
thankfully, he's destroyed one of the bollards, and thankfully there doesn't need to be a 1,500-word essay to fix it. He gets right in the way of TD, and this is holding up the Alfa Romeo big time.
They've dropped out of DRS of John John. John John's going to be on his own. What?
DeflatedWee ignoring yellow flag.
Don't quite understand that one.
I think that
maybe it was for the spun car of that guy. Either way, that will have to go to the stewards. That one.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say before all of that kerfuffle happened, as I think Greg's gonna get out of the way of John here. Um, I on the test race that we did yesterday, I did a soft medium, and the mediums, while if you take them 21 laps, they'll get up to about 70%. They do last.
And DeflatedWee just goes all the way around the outside of Greg in the Ferrari, but he's
That was
crucial.
a
He's
fantastic
one
move.
point. Oh,
A
man,
TD on the inside.
he sends it there. Well, what a move there from TD. But they've
Two
lost.
fantastic moves.
They've lost so much time to the Ferrari, who will be scampering away just to catch up to the back of 1010 and Joseph Hale. So, to your point, with the tyres lasting, with the leaders, they're probably going to end up, they're going to go to softs now. When do you think is the right time to pull the trigger? Probably about lap 21, 22?
No, I think mediums will be too far gone by that point. So, and softs, my softs were 2% used at the start of the stint because I was a bit of a spoon and went and used all of my softs in qualifying. Um, but it was, I took my softs until I think it was lap 12, lap 13, and they still only just hit 60. So I think that the ideal time to box would probably be lap 19, or maybe even this lap. I think 20 and 21 is probably a little bit too far because by that point my tyres were reaching about 70. And as we know, that is the second drop-off point, I believe.
So, just note from Sun God, the illegal overtake was because Deflated overtook that guy when ghosted. As 1010 comes
Yeah,
into the pits, as
thought so.
does. Well, no, Joseph Hale stays
Joseph
out.
stays out. Watch what tyres he goes on to, though. He'll come out a ways behind John, but bear in mind they still have to stop again. He's going on to
He
softs.
is going on to soft, so that's him to the end. The fall behind John. But
Deflated and
TD and
Deflated and
Deflated
TD
side by side.
They're side by side through the next section. Up the hill, Deflated with better traction. And I
And
believe the DRS as well,
DRS.
yes. So Deflated will pull away from TD. Good chance though. That was a good fight through there.
Very bold.
But even then, it's going to cost them tons of time to John. And I think Joseph this lap will come in as well because he's going to have to respond to 1010 pulling the undercut trigger.
Oh, absolutely. So the gap between John and 1010 is just over 8 seconds. So assuming that 1010 will make up a little bit of time in this stint, the next couple laps with those fresh softs on, John
As Joseph comes in.
John will have it all to do.
He stays out. This is Josh, Deflated, ED. It'll be a little bit early for them to box, but their softs will be much fresher by the end. I'm just thinking that the gap is going to be too big. Especially with the undercut that 1010 is now going to have on them.
Yeah, so he will have gained about 2 seconds. Well, he's got almost 3 seconds on Joseph Hales now. So with that, he's got to clear this Aston Martin very quickly. And with DRS,
Deflated and Josh. X81 teammates at Red Bull last season. As TD goes a little bit wide. I've been watching from his POV. They were side by side inside and Deflated on the inside. Clean move.
I think
they're both flashing at the moment a little bit there.
Yeah, so clearly using a lot of energy to fight each other, especially Deflated, as you can see on the screen, even though we're watching from TD's perspective, as he throws it down to the inside, passing the Red Bull very comfortably. He's just about outside of DRS, so he's got a little bit of ground to make up. as Prev
But
and John
check
John.
behind. AlphaTauri 1010. He's very, very close here. He'll probably have DRS as well, knowing his absolutely mega exits from here. As
Oh, he'll
John
have
John,
DRS easily.
I think John John's just made a move through the final corner,
Yeah, he's got it
or
on
at
the
least
straight.
before it. Prev probably won't fight this, as 1010 does an 18.5, 6 tenths quicker from what we saw from both John John and Deflated. He's in DRS of TD. This is a man on a mission that we are watching right now.
He's got to be careful though. I know you said the tyres last, however 15 laps on softs is usually a big ask of any track.
It's very true, but as he sends it, block pass, great move.
I think TD was a little bit cautious there, if I'm honest, because I think he knew it's not worth wasting time fighting the AlphaTauri when he's got a fight with Deflated. So he's a bit like, okay, you go past and I'll run my own race.
But 1010's going to have so much more grip that he'll pull away. TD won't get the DRS, therefore won't be on the back of Deflated as much as he was before.
All we need now is a safety car.
Jesus. Safety car would completely throw this race to the side. As that's Prev coming into the pits. But 1010, down the straight, passed him well before turn 1, as Joseph Hales was an 18.3. 3 tenths faster than 1010 that time. And now it's 1010, going to be wanting to chase up to the back of John John.
I do have to say that one lap staying out for Joseph Hales has cost him dearly. So there we have it. The gap between 1010 and John John is now 2.9 seconds. John John will have to make up over 2-3 seconds a lap just to get a sniff of a win here. I think he's made the wrong call with strategy, as Joseph Hales gets a time penalty. And let's see what other penalties we've got. TD, Joseph Hales.
Whoa! Chance of a move and gets it done on the exit. Very side by side.
TD's not giving it
TD
up.
will stay behind. Wow. That's a move and a half, that one.
I completely missed that. Apologies, viewers. But nevertheless, I think if that could be submitted for overtake of the season, as John John finally pits, straight onto softs he'll go. But
This is the starting point of this race.
yeah,
As TD comes in as well. I think they'll come out just behind Josh. They might get a little bit in the way of that guy, you know. Because I think he might just very closely be in their pit window.
no, not John John. He's going to come out with a clear track in front of him, so he should be fine. But TD, you're right, is going to fall potentially into the clutches of that guy. Josh does the fastest lap as TD gets out of the pits just ahead of the Aston, but he's going to find it hard to stay out in front of him.
Whoa!
And the Aston Martin goes off the track to avoid the Alfa Romeo.
Watch out for Greg. Consistent point scorer, staple of the league. Greg is closed up right to the back of them, but can't quite get it done. But TD on the fresh tyres is probably going to pull away from these two, I think.
Yep, I second that. And here we have the world champion, John John, who is currently 21 seconds behind 1010. He's got it all to do. And I dare say it's a bit of a long shot to get the win. It all just depends on how fast he can go and how 1010 can look after his tyres. As Deflated now comes into the pits.
Yeah, I think he was on the same strategy as John John, so it's quite likely that he'll have responded from the late call, I think.
He'll have to take his 5-second penalty.
With still 10 laps, he'll come out, I think, just behind the battling two of Prev and Josh.
He's going to come out behind Greg.
Behind TD and that guy. Wow, I didn't think he'd be that far back.
Ouch.
And he's still got the 3 seconds. Going to be a tough ask for Deflated.
So I think
81 champion of last season.
whatever
Don't
happens with
think.
John, he's at least on the podium.
Oh, yeah, agreed. Because these two are staying out to the end. That's pretty much confirmed. But I think unless somebody can pull out some wonder kid pace, I don't think anybody's going to be able to catch them now. With 8 laps to go, I think John, I think my prediction will ring true.
But he does do
79.
a ridiculous fastest lap, 17.9, which is disgusting.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That is horrendous.
The gap is closing up between the top two. But Joseph Hales has got that penalty. Ten's played it very, very clean. Oh, but it goes very wide in that Mercedes. What other battles have we got around the track? So we got Prev and Josh for 4th and 5th, even though Josh does have a penalty. TD is in 6th with that guy in 7th behind him. So Deflated, unfortunately having lost out quite a bit, is in 8th place. It's just damage control for him at this point.
Agreed. What I do find kind of funny, despite everyone being on differing strategies, everybody has ended up on soft. Which I didn't notice before, but that's really interesting that everybody's ended up, despite being on different tyre strategies, for like quite a way, that they're all on the same tyres. As Josh is closing up to the back of Prev, I just noticed there, and he's gone past him just before turn 1. Keeps in the track limits. Prev will want to get back past here, I think, but I don't think he needs to either, because Josh already has, I think that's the 2nd track limit penalty. 3 seconds for Josh, so...
You'll want to pass him though out of pride, I think.
Oh, great. Definitely.
Yeah, you can't have a period victory. We can have a proper one. It's 1.8 seconds now. The gap between the top two. It's stabilizing somewhat as the angry corgi is now a lap down. And speaking of dogs, it's been more or less a dog's dinner for him today.
A smaller 3-second penalty. Is that his 2nd one of the day? This is 3rd.
3rd of the day. With 3 times the charm, he's out with the points, absolutely on merit. But DeflatedWee looks like he's pulling away from Greg long enough to keep hold of 8. He's just got to start passing the cars in front of him. Is John 15 seconds back?
We'll get very, very close at the end here. Been on the edge of my seat with excitement this race.
It has been a very entertaining one with different strategies, which, I'll be honest, is a bit of a...
Oh! What happened there?
Trev went wide.
I noticed TD had got past him, moved to his PFD and saw that Prev had gone off to the right-hand side. Was there maybe a little bit of contact?
Hopefully not. He must have absolutely sent it from the back, but Prev has gone wide, and he's ended up getting a time penalty as a result. And look who's on the back of all of these guys. It's DeflatedWee in the Mercedes, goes round the outside of the Aston.
That's a brave one.
Oh, and he almost makes it stick, but he's still on the inside, and yeah, checkmate.
Great move. Wow. Very unorthodox place to make a move there.
And somewhere that's a little bit more orthodox is the start-finish straight. Let's see if he can close up to Prev. Actually, I don't think will have it this time round. TD goes up
gets
to
past
4th.
Josh. Wow. This last stint of the race, becoming alive. He having a little wiggle through 4, but the two in front of Prev are flashing. Is Prev going to have a go for it on the inside of 5?
Shows
Josh.
in the car, but Deflated around the outside.
Oh, just Deflated on the outside. It's Deflated with a track race. On the inside, he's still there.
Oh,
Great
a little bit of
between
touch,
these two.
but...
Little bit of contact.
Oh, but
As
Prev loses the rear end,
has
goes
a little
into the
snap
Aston.
into that guy who's now there.
Leaves in the space.
Whoa. Big send from that guy.
Internet's lagging a little bit. It's Deflated, goes wide.
Josh goes a little bit deep and lets Deflated through.
Oh.
That is Smaller, who's spun on the exit of 4 again. Lots of people spinning through 4 as that guy is now spun. That's an interesting one.
Another place for Greg. 1.3 seconds the gap now between the leaders.
I think there may have been a little bit of back markers there because Smaller had just recovered, I think, into the very close path of the other two. No damage done, I hope. Didn't quite catch it, but I saw Smaller recovering on the minimap.
Pretty decent recovery drive has got to be said from Deflated, because he obviously had that illegal overtake penalty, which still a bit questionable in my view, as well as the track limits penalties there, but he's on the cusp of getting 4th place, so I've got to say, brilliant bit of recovery driving there from DeflatedWee.
He's done very well this race.
11 seconds.
I think no matter what the outcome, I think Deflated will be proud of this race.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's had a brilliant recovery through here.
11.9 the gap between John and the leader. I mean, I've got to give him credit. Like, he may not be in the frame to win this race, but to get within sort of 8 seconds before the end of the race is pretty impressive.
True. Agreed. I think that because Joseph has 3 seconds as well, I think he could be very, very close to Deflated. Down the main straight, eases past TD. Well before turn 1 there.
Oh, there we go.
My mic's going a bit funny. Not good. Well, not my mic, my headset. A little bit annoying.
It's a bit weird.
Oh, God. It's always been like this. I don't understand. I have to have it in a certain way. Like in a certain direction. For it plugged into the controller for it to like, play through both headphones.
I think it sounds okay for now. I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Might just be a me issue then with the playback.
But with 3 laps to go, we've got 10-10, who's put on yet another brilliant defensive drive. Something of a bit of a Portugal maestro at the moment. He's got 1.4 seconds to Joseph Hales, and thankfully he hasn't got a penalty either. But Joseph Hales doing very well to close the gap, and John is within 11 seconds of the leader. We're going back to the battle for 4th place. TD's coming up to DeflatedWee. Mercedes goes a little bit wide there, but these two having a nice little battle here. It was Josh falling behind this pack. Decent recovery drive for the Mercedes.
I just want to check, are we allowed to talk about like race director checking warnings?
Well, yeah, we're allowed to do that.
Okay, that's good. Because I just checked and it's just like, don't think he's quite as safe as he quite wants to be.
We're just anything to do with like how much Earth is left just is a no-go.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I checked the race director and Yeah, as I say, I don't think he's quite as safe as he wants to be because he is on 2 warnings, but they've only come, interestingly, from the soft stint. So
Well, he's on 13 laps, so he's losing grip.
it was at the start of the soft stint, which was the most interesting thing. So if he does get another warning, and Joseph is able to close up into his DRS
Hmm.
in 2 laps, it'll be a tough ask, but it'll be more than a shout.
It's the last lap but one, so he's got to hope for a lapse in concentration from the AlphaTauri. He's doing well to keep everything together, and when you're at that stage, you just can't think about the fact that it's one more warning and I'm getting a penalty. You just have to go for it.
The stakes are so high whenever you're up here. As he does a little bit wide, and
And
there it
as
is.
we say that, he gets a time penalty.
The commentator's curse.
We've done it again.
It's
TD gets
always
another
me.
time
It's always
penalty.
me.
That's going to drop him behind Josh as it stands.
I think he'll be able to use Deflated's DRS to pull away though. I think he might just keep that.
It
But we
depends.
do start the last lap of the race.
1.3 seconds the gap. As Joseph Hales goes wide again, the gap between him and John is 8.7 seconds. Ferrari doing very well to close up, all things considered. However, the former champion 1010 looks like he's got this one in the bag so far.
Yeah, it's been a brilliantly controlled race from everybody here. This has been an incredible watch.
Could not agree more, as TD and Deflated still jostling between those two. TD's broken the 3 second gap, so he'll keep 5th place as things stand. He's just got to play it sensible coming into these until the last part of the lap. We see Prev's still fighting Josh, so that'll give TD a little bit of breathing space, as we'll have one less thing to think about. But we're going to go on board with the leader, 1010, who qualified in 2nd, was champion in Season 4, and been something of a specialist around this track. 1010 comes up to the start-finish straight, crosses the line, and wins round 4, the Portuguese Grand Prix, as Joseph Hales makes a very ceremonious finish. DeflatedWee, who has recovered so well to be where he is despite all of the penalties, is coming across the line now. P4 for the second Mercedes. It's definitely been a good day in constructors for the Silver Arrows. TD comes up to the line in 5th. Josh crosses the line to take 6th, with Preb in 7th. Greg is coming up to take 8th place with that guy and Jay Clates, who hung on despite all of this to cling on to the last point. Whatever happens, he's nailed down in 10th place. So it's a guaranteed solitary point for the Alpine. And I hope you'll be glad to know, Willow, you won't have to make an apology live on stream.
Yay! Brilliantly executed race from the front guys, and from literally everyone. That's been an absolutely fantastic race. Very, very good recovery from Mercedes, especially their sprint was horrid. So it was really, really good recovery from them today.
Could not agree more. And you know what the biggest thing about this stream was? It's still here. My internet is held up.
Yay! Oh dear. That that was really good. Today has been really good.
Absolutely. It's been a nice little evening, hasn't it?
Hmm.
And here's the winner, 1010, who has not only won the sprint, but has also won the main race as well. If he did get the fastest lap, it would be a clean sweep. However, it's been a day where he certainly made his point and scored plenty of them in this round. I think John ambitious call, was hoping for a safety car probably, but just didn't quite get the strategy right, even though he had amazing pace. But he did get the fastest lap. So we're just going to go over the top 10 now. So 10-10 wins the Grand Prix with Joseph Hale second from pole position. John and DeflatedWee in their grid positions in third and fourth. TD up to fifth with Josh in sixth. Prev and Greg 7th and 8th respectively, with that guy 9th and Jay Clates finishing off in the points paying positions. The Angry Corgi 11th in the Red Bull, with Smaller Smiley 12th in the Aston Martin, and Adam Ski and Red Dragon both failing to score. I'm really hot now. What about you?
You were lagging a little bit there. Sorry.
Oh dear. Hopefully I wasn't lagging on the stream.
You cursed yourself.
You know what? I probably did curse myself, which is a shame.
Knowing our luck.
Yeah, but it's definitely been a fun one, Willow. I'm glad you could join me in the comments box today. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
I definitely did. That was absolutely fantastic. I loved that. And I'm going to be happy to come back next week, because next week is... I can just get a calendar. Next week is Spa.
Absolutely one of the favourites, a monster track that somehow Formula Management doesn't think should be on the calendar. Why they think that, I do not know. But enough about my political rants. I'm going to let you guys go after what's been a brilliant race after round 4 of the No Assist Tier Championship. Thank you all very much for watching, and from myself and Willow, we'll see you guys next week for round 5 in Belgium. Bye-bye.
Bye.